40 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Josh Roy joined alongside Nathan Durek as per usual. Happy Canada Day to you all. Proud to call this great country home. And speaking of Canada, Canada are through to the round of 16 of the World Cup for the very first time. And it wasn't easy. It was frustrating at times, but they managed to get the job done against South Africa in LA.
I don't think at this stage you can consider any match an easy match. Even those ones on paper where it seems to be, a big disparity between countries. Over the course of 90 minutes, anything can happen. As we're recording this right now, we've got the DR Congo and England game right now up on, and DR Congo is up 1-0. So it tells you, wild swings can happen over 90 minutes. Over an entire season, things tend to even out, and we notice that. But one game, anything can happen. And I think the Canada game, even though Canada on paper, you might have expected this should be one they should win, it was anything but easy.
No, that first half was kind of a slog to watch. Both teams weren't really attacking much. Canada was still lacking the final third play. It was surprising to see Liam Miller start over Ali Ahmed. And, Jonathan David and Kyle Larin they didn't really get the service that they were hoping for. But the second half, Canada started to pick things up. They were pushing for that goal. South Africa tried to get them on the transitions, but Max Gripo stood tall. And it took until stoppage time for Steven Eustáquio from outside the box to beat Williams. And that sent Canada through to the round of 16.
Steven Eustáquio is an individual that's been a part of this men's program for a long, long time. He was captain of this program for a number of years before Alphonso Davies kind of was given that armband, through discussion with Eustáquio and Jesse Marsh over, the leader. But that doesn't mean that Eustáquio is not a leader on this team. He absolutely is. And also, you can almost trace the beginning of the rise of the men's program to when Eustáquio decided to play for Canada rather than Portugal, because he was available for both sides. And I think he actually did play at different youth stages for Portugal before ultimately committing to Canada. And when Canada finally cup-tied Eustáquio, that was a message of we can get a top player who is eligible for Canada to play for Canada. And then I think everything kind of just started to snowball a little from that. I think we've seen the benefit of that with now other players wanting to come to Canada. Canada doesn't have to fight to try and get players. You think of the story of Luc de Fougerols, and I believe it was the story of de Fougerols' dad who contacted someone in Canada Soccer to say, hey, my son is available for your country. Watch him. Right? Because, there is that possibility. And now look at him right now. At one point, de Fougerols was, I think, at the last time when FIFA was ranking all their players that just came out after the group stage, de Fougerols was ranked as the number one defender in this World Cup so far. So, the program is there. It's growing, but it's growing because of people that are eligible for this country. And you got to think about that wide-ranging net that every country casts. Because they're a part of your framework.
Yeah, and with Steven Eustáquio, he's been part of this program for a long time. He is the engine of this team. He has been for quite some time, a leader in that midfield. Canada benefits from his defensive work and his service, but you don't really see him score goals often. But they usually come from outside the box, and it's good that he was held this game. Shame he wasn't against Switzerland. Got the start, went the full 90, and this game felt like it was Canada's for the taking, but that first half again was a slog to get through.
It was a slog. Canada still did create chances. They had 4 shots on target in that first half, but it seemed that from the very first whistle, South Africa seemed to be playing for penalties right from the very beginning. They kind of wanted to get to that 90 minutes, get into that extra time. because they weren't really doing anything going forward. They only had a single shot on target in the first half. Actually, throughout the entire game, they didn't even have a shot on target in the second. An XG of, I don't even know if it was
0.14 for South Africa.
There you go. I was going to say 1.5 is my guess. But I mean, that just tells you they weren't really moving forward. They had less than 10 touches inside Canada's 18-yard box throughout the entire game. They were set up very structurally. They were sound defensively. But for as much as we say anything can happen over 90 minutes, playing that way over 90 minutes is not sustainable. It is a very difficult thing to do. And if you do it, you kind of look like a genius because your game plan paid off. But if it doesn't pay off, the question is, why didn't you offer anything going forward? You had 90 minutes to do it, and you had an even slate. And I think that's kind of what we feel with South Africa right now. Because this game, for as much as it was for the taking for Canada, it was for the taking for South Africa as well. These are two teams that both finished second in their group. The fact that they were matched up against one another is unique in the World Cup. And it only happens because of this new format that we have right now. In the old formats, a first place team goes against a second place team. You fill in your bracket, you're done. This one's a little bit unique. And both of these teams, it's the first time they've ever been to the knockout round. So it's new territory for everyone else. Anything can happen. Yes, on paper, yes, on FIFA ranking or anything that you want to take a look at, Canada should take this. But nothing is written in stone before that first whistle goes off.
Yeah, and that they were just playing low block throughout the whole game, haram ball, whatever you want to call it. And Canada were, it took a while for the press to get going. In the second half, the press really started to come alive. I thought they weren't using the wide areas as much. With the overloads, it was tough because of South Africa's defense. And Alphonso Davies finally made his first appearance of the tournament. And even at 50% or whatever he is at, he changed the game with his speed and creativity.
Yeah, we saw how much a player like Jonathan David benefits from having Alphonso Davies on the pitch. Actually, forget that. At that time, I think it was both the Davids. Promise was on the pitch as well at the time. Alphonso Davies, we know about his speed, but it's also the intelligence that he has to grab that ball with his head up and, a lot of times play in the player that just passed it to him. He's great at dealing with 1-2s, or if he has to grab the ball, go up the left and get around. I think we have to give a special credit to on South Africa, Khaliso Mudau. He was the right back in this game. And you talked about why you were surprised Ali Ahmed wasn't playing and Liam Miller was. Mudau is a big body. He's a big guy. He's a difficult guy to play 1v1, which is why I think they went with Liam Miller, because they want to instead rely on the speed on the outside, where Ali Ahmed likes to challenge direct, right? We talk about the playing style of Ahmed standing so far over the ball where you never really know what direction he's going to go. Now, that could work against a player like Mudau, but I think Jesse Marshall was just trying to overload and try to get around him. Didn't really pay off.
Didn't really work.
But you bring on a player like Alphonso Davies, and all of a sudden you start to see a player like Mudau being challenged a little bit more, and it's a different makeup. It's like Liam Miller on overdrive, right? Now you have to deal with a guy that absolutely can blow by you, even at, like you said, 50%, 75%, whatever Davy is at right now.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that really stifled South Africa, and we haven't talked about it, because we talked about during their group stage, was their young kind of phenom player, Thapelo Maseko, 22 years old, really, really creative player in this. He actually plays in Cyprus, I believe, right now.
He plays for AEL Limassol.
Yeah, he was playing in South Africa, wasn't getting a lot of game time, decided to move to Cyprus just so that he could get game time. And I think this is something that's really, really going to pay off for this player, because I think a lot of eyes started to notice him for his creativity. But that didn't happen in the Canada game. And I don't know if it was – I'm thinking a lot of it was lack of service. is
That didn't really
because
get a whole lot.
he didn't really get on the ball that much. But even when he did get on the ball, he wasn't doing a lot of it. You take a look at his number of successful dribbles, they were under 50%. Canada was doing a good job of stifling him when he had the ball. And if you stifle a team like South Africa, not in the transition of the ball, but actually at where kind of the impetus of where everything it starts, they got nothing going forward.
Yeah, like Cornelius did his job, Richie Larea did his job, and Moise Bombito, why he's very important, tracking back with his speed, using his intelligence to stop the South Africa counterattacks. And even when Luke DeFugerol came on, and Nico Seeger as well, they did their job as the game went on. But again, service for Canada was also lacking. Jonathan David did get the chances, though. Didn't really attack much. Taniel Olashea wasn't really working with the link-up play, which is why Promise David came on. Had a couple sniffs as well. But when you were watching this game, it felt like a goal was coming.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like we were heading to extra time. I did not want to go to penalties because anything can happen in penalties. But thank goodness for Steven Eustachio scoring the biggest goal in this men's program's history. And yeah, it's still surreal to say Canada is in the final 16 of a World Cup.
I think one of the difficulties of Canada going forward in this game, you talked about lack of service, was Tajon Buchanan just had an off day.
Yeah.
We know what happens. I mean, it happens to the best of us in our everyday jobs. It's going to happen to people in sports as well. But he had an off day, and so much of Canada's creativity throughout this tournament has gone through the right side. Tajon working with overlaps of Alistair Johnson coming in from behind him, but it just wasn't Buchanan's day. And unfortunately, that affects the service to the front too. I thought it was interesting starting with Oluwaseyi and Jonathan David. Jonathan David, we know, is going to be on the lineup. That's just the way it is. It's one of those things that you can almost on a team sheet write in pen. But when you start him with Tani, both of them like to drop deep. To drop deep, cycle the ball kind of almost like I don't want to call it a false nine, but almost like so deep where they're almost a 10.
Almost like a 10.
And then move it up. Now, when Jonathan David does it with Kyle Larin, it works a little bit better because Larin loves to press. He is always up forward. He is one of those guys where he might not get a lot of touches on the ball, but when he does, you're hoping that he's far enough forward that it's going to create something dangerous. When you have both your guys dropping deep, all of a sudden you get the ball and you look up and you're like, well, what do I do with it? I have no outlets unless I go just to the outside. So you're removing that central channel. Which if you're going to play a 4-4-2 that Jesse March likes to stick to, and you have two front guys, it kind of helps if they're not trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, and both guys dropping back, it makes the attack slower. The overloads weren't working. For this to work, you really need the wings, the overloads to really work. It didn't really work in this game. Well, Kyle Larin and Promise David tend to press more and complement Jonathan David, who drops back more in this system. And another off day for Jonathan David, but he did have the most touches in the opposition box. So Canada are through to the last 16, which they will face Morocco on July 4th. And these two teams did meet at the last World Cup in the group stage where Morocco won 2-1. Sam Adekugbe created the only Canada goal. It was credited as an own goal.
Yeah. And, I think we've heard TSN talk a lot about how a lot of Canadians would probably give that goal to Sam Adekugbe just for the amount of work that he did on that left side to create that opportunity. Morocco is no slouch at all. This is
top team, I believe.
Top quality team. Yeah, they're ranked 5th in the world right now. They're actually tied for the highest ranked African nation on FIFA rankings ever. They're tied with, I think it was in 1994, Nigeria. And they absolutely deserve to be up there. I had called them a dark horse before the tournament, and I think that's probably doing Morocco a disservice. I think I was calling them a dark horse before this tournament because we saw what they did in the last World Cup, And I just didn't know if they were going to keep it up 4 years later. Well, not only have they kept it up, they're playing so much better. A lot of that team is the same though. Like there's a lot of similarity in that team from 4 years ago, and I think that could benefit Canada when you look at some of the players that were with Canada back then. Alfonso Davies, Eustachio. They know the team that's in front of them a little bit differently. The one thing that might benefit Canada is that they've got a different man at the helm in Jesse Marsh, who's going to have different game plans to try and unlock Morocco. He's going to be able to learn the lessons. He's a guy who absolutely listens to everything around him, and I think that can benefit Canada. This is one of those ones where, again, on paper, you expect Morocco to win. But say, like, out of every 10 games, Canada might win 2 of those or 3 of those. You're just hoping that is one of those 2 or 3. Or one or two.
Morocco, this is going to be interesting because Morocco is a very fluid possession-based side. We saw that against the Dutch. And Canada, of course, with their pressing. So this is a very enticing matchup tactically between 2 very good tactical minds. And, Morocco...
They outplayed the Dutch.
They did. Well, more on that game later in the horrendous penalty shootout. But as you see throughout the game against the Dutch in the group stage, a lot of their attack comes through their fullbacks, Mazraoui and Hakimi.
Yeah.
And someone to watch out for is their striker, Ismail Saibiri, who plays for PSV but is set to join Bayern Munich, especially in that group stage where when he gets the ball, he finishes.
He's also a guy that can get under your skin a little bit. He's not afraid to go in for a heavy challenge. And he's not afraid to have some words with people too, if he knows that he can get away with it. Again, one of those players you love to have on your team. You hate if he's not on your team. And I mean, let's be honest. This is a team Canada is not going to have to worry about a low block. Morocco is going to be coming at Canada.
Yeah, I feel like this game could have fireworks given on paper how these 2 teams play. It's going to be a lot closer, I expect, than people anticipate. And Canada, there's a path here to pull off an upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Canada has the tools, they have the players to win this game. I'll be very surprised if it's a Morocco blowout. And the Dutch nearly gave it to Morocco, but no, Morocco is a very resilient side. The midfield battle will be interesting with, I assume, Eustachio and Saliba against Al Anioui and their young phenom, Ayoub Bouadadi, who plays for Lille.
Yeah. I think that's how they lined up against Netherlands as well.
They did,
I wouldn't be surprised. They got enough time to rest players. That game will be on July 4th, still 4 days away. I guess if you include today.
Yeah, got to watch out for Brahim Diaz on the right wing.
Yeah. I agree with you that those fullbacks will get up very, very high. Morocco is a very attacking side. They're a side that basically set their model 4 years ago, and they've just evolved it and tweaked it over time.
And from the last World Cup, I believe 7 players were part of that squad, and I think the guys like Davies, David, Eustachio, Cornelius, they obviously remember what happened in that game against Morocco 4 years ago. Canada put up a good fight in that game, from what I remember.
They didn't
really have anything to play for.
It was a single goal difference, right?
Yeah, it was 2-1.
Yeah.
So I think Canada obviously has grown since then. Got still a very young squad with a bunch of young players. But, you got their leaders, Eustachio, Davies, David, Cornelius. And now we have Max Crepeau in the mix.
I would say that too, yeah.
It's things have changed in the last 4 years.
Yeah. I give Canada a very solid chance, but they're going to have to play one of the best structurally sound games of their lives. They're going to get sucked in at times to how Morocco plays. that's just a given. Morocco will try to dictate the pace and the path of this game, and they're going to be successful for significant portions. Canada's going to need to do their best to just, especially for the first 20 minutes, just keep their head, kind of absorb that initial onslaught, and then work themselves into the game, because I don't think Canada is going to start this game on the front foot.
No, got to be smart with the back line, especially since Marsh likes to play a kind of a high line.
Yeah. In fact, I think Canada's ranked the highest line in the World Cup so far.
So Cornelius or Bombito or DeFudro will have to be smart against Saiberi and Ibrahim Diaz.
I'm assuming it's going to be Bombito and Cornelius in the back again.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I believe.
It seems like Bombito's slowly starting to get more fit.
Yep.
And people outside media would say would feel like it's a walk in the park for Morocco, but it's going to be Canada should put up a fight here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes to extra time or penalties.
The one thing is again, Alphonso Davies is not going to start this game. I don't see that happening at all. But if it is a game like what South Africa was, where it is a draw, whether it's 0-0, 1-1, when do you bring on a player like Alphonso Davies, knowing that you might have to rely on him for that additional half hour in extra time? I think that was probably a very difficult decision for Marsh when he did bring Davies on against South Africa. The idea is that you're bringing him on to wrap it up within regular time. Nobody wants to go to the extra time. So that's the goal. It paid off, thankfully. But if that had gone to extra time, that becomes a bit of a worry. You got your 15, 20 minutes from him. Do you get another half hour? I don't know what is the ceiling for David right now. Like, could you get a solid, say, 45 minutes out of him? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think he starts against Morocco.
There's no chance. Yeah,
he'll get the start once again. It just feels like there needs to be. It's gonna be tough against those fullbacks, but the overloads. Try to get some more service for Jonathan David to get chances. And Morocco's also very solid with their defensive structure as well.
Well, that's one thing I was going to ask you as well, because you were talking about the fullbacks earlier, is you've got someone like Hakimi who's playing on the right there. Do you go with Ahmed in this game?
Ahmed has the tenacity and the pace, but Hakimi's like full, he's like a complete fullback.
Yeah. He's one of the stars on this team. Let's be honest.
He is the star.
Yeah,
on this team. So I probably go with Ali Ahmed to challenge Hakimi.
It's going to be a big ask for him, but I would probably do it as well, just because I think Miller had a bit of a difficult time with South Africa. The one thing that Ahmed gives you as well is a left and a right foot. Right, we've seen him time and time again with the Whitecaps. He's able to bound down that left-hand side, cut in, or cross from that side. He also can cut in at the top of the box and create something on his own. Whether or not he's able to take a shot himself, or by cutting inside, he opens up a through channel or a switch to continue that ball further right to, say, someone like a Buchanan who might be sitting on that far side. Try and stretch Morocco out, especially since we know Morocco is going to be playing with a higher line than, say, South Africa. If they get them on a quick transition, there's not going to be as many players back, and someone like Ali will be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, especially with his ability to cut inside and cross the ball in for Alarin or Jonathan David.
Exactly.
And then on the right, you have Tejan Buchanan, most definitely going to battle Mazraoui.
I'm expecting a bounce
back from the South Africa game, but Buchanan, he has the creativity and the speed to do so. And I would expect Morocco to control the game and Canada to be the one transitioning. And Canada has the pacey players to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go for Canada. That's my heart giving the answer, but 2-1.
Yeah.
Honestly, 2-1, it could be either way.
I think this game could even be 3-2.
Yeah.
I feel like we can get a lot of goals in this game if Canada figures out how to use the final third.
Especially since both these teams like to move. They like to get forward, right? We talked about it. Canada is playing the highest line in the tournament so far. We know Morocco is not going to be sitting back by any means. This game could be exciting, not necessarily the most defensive-minded game.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is somehow a high-scoring, fast-paced, back-and-forth game that goes to extra time or penalties, which I think it will go beyond 90 minutes.
I think there's a very real chance. I agree with you.
Yeah. I'll probably go to 3-2. Canada wins this on penalties.
You're going to go to penalties, eh?
That's my heart.
I really hope it doesn't go that far.
Me too. It's my heart pick. My head pick says Morocco wins it in extra time.
I'm still going 2-1.
Yeah. It's... the pressure's more on Morocco here.
It is.
They want to replicate their 2022 run. They're the more favored side. Well, Canada, they're not just happy to be here. They want to make some noise.
Marsha talked about one of his press conferences that this upcoming game is kind of like a free hit, right? Like Canada has achieved what they had hoped to in this tournament. Anything that they go beyond this is just that added bonus, right? And I mean, I talked about it before. I had my 3 benchmarks, right? Get a point, get a win, get out of the group. And so they've already done that. They've actually gone one step forward than what my benchmarks are. I'm happy that the team is higher, wants to do more than what I had said as their kind of minimum threshold. But yeah, by any metric of anyone that follows this game, Canada has either achieved or overachieved what they set out to do in this tournament. No one around the world would look at Canada and say, you know what, not the greatest World Cup for you. They're going to look at Canada and say, good on you. Now everything you do beyond this point is just play with that freedom. Play with that freedom because you achieved what you set out to do in this tournament. Yeah. Now let's see if we can surprise not even other people but ourselves.
Yeah, it's go out there and you can do if you can make the quarterfinals. And Canada will take on Morocco at 10 a.m. Pacific time from Houston Stadium. So let's go over some of the other knockout games which has happened, starting with Brazil and Japan, which was played in Houston. This was quite the fight between both two sides. Sano with that incredible solo goal where he just blew by Casemiro, put Japan up 1-0 in the 29th minute. And they were up 1-0 at that half, but from there they barely attacked. They just hunkered down defensively.
Yeah, this wasn't the Japan I was hoping for. I will say that. I've actually, throughout the groups, I should say, the first 2 games of Japan, I found them to be one of the more entertaining teams to play. I thought they were very, very fluid. I thought they moved the ball really well. I really enjoyed how they stayed on their feet. And they didn't go down. They didn't fall. Or if they did go down, there was a reason for it, but they popped right back up and kept trying to play unless the whistle was going. Their last game of the group stage, I mean, at that point, they were playing later on in the third round that they kind of knew what was going on. So that game felt a little bit lethargic. But this game, it felt, again, they got their first goal, and then it was just hang on for dear life.
Yeah, and then Casemiro made up for his blunder with the header from the back post from Gabriel's cross. And Brazil were just going on with the likes of Vinicius Jr., Matheus Cunha, just pounding it to Japan. And Japan were trying to go for the counterattack, but nothing really worked for them.
Yeah. I mean, again, this was also another one of those games where it was a goal in the final few minutes of the match that kind of decided everything. We've seen a few of these in the knockout stage, Canada being one, Brazil. But Brazil is finding their way. I think Brazil is doing a better job at figuring out low blocks than other team, but low blocks are effective in trying to stifle a team like Brazil that relies on that fluidity and that just kind of that silky sort of football that we expect high quality teams that love moving around like this and they possess that within their skill set. I don't really have a whole lot to say of this match in that I still don't believe we have seen what Brazil can truly do.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for it. I think that they have found their best makeup, especially with Cunha starting instead of Thiago. That first game that Brazil played, I think they realized that Thiago needs to sit on the bench. Cunha is definitely more effective in this tournament. Vinicius Jr. is going to just do what he always does. He is a guy that is up for every game. I feel like he is doing better in playing as one of the 11 rather than a one on his own and 10 other guys, which I think is more effective. I don't know how far Brazil can go in this tournament because I feel there is still much more they have to offer. I just don't know if they're willing to do it, which seems kind of weird to say when you're talking about the biggest stage.
Yeah, I just feel like we haven't seen the best of them yet, but a lot of their play runs through Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield, one of the most underrated midfielders in the game.
He's having a phenomenal tournament.
Yeah, just created the most chances in the game against Japan. And he had the assist on Gabriel Martinelli's winner.
And he's done that a number of times. I think he's actually up there for one of the highest number of goal creations.
Yeah. And Brazil are in the last 16. This one was an upset. Germany against Andres Kubis' Paraguay. Germany's attack, very poor. Just pass, cross. See if anything gets onto it. Lack of creativity, and they just look so static and passive.
Germany had chances. They had 21 shots in this game, but only 6 managed to hit the net. But the thing is when you take a look at the number of chances they had, you have to take a look at how many of them were actually high quality chances. And that was very few and far between. They didn't actually get a lot of chances from positions where they would want to take chances. They got their goal. Kai Havertz, a good header that
from Wirtz's cross
barely skimmed his head. I mean, that's one of those ones where, yes, you get the goal, but I think that one might have just touched a few hair follicles and not much else. It was a surprise. I think Paraguay played an effective game, and the fact that they were able to take it to penalties, very, very good on them. Kubas and Bobadilla in the midfield.
Yeah, Bombadilla with the assist on Incesio's goal, which put Paraguay up 1-0 at the half. They've battled, especially Kubas. Well done to the Vancouver Whitecap. And especially extra time where Germany were just poor. Though they did get a goal disallowed. Todd's header went in, but it looked like, like in hockey, goaltender interference from Anton.
This is one of those ones. It was, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the one that was pulled back offside?
No, this was because Anton bumped into Gil.
Oh, right.
Heel.
And that one, it was weak. That's a soft.
That was very soft.
That was very, very, very soft.
Very.
Is there contact? Sure. But I think you get more contact in a handshake.
Yeah, because it felt like Hill went down so easily.
Yeah. Now, the thing is we know it doesn't matter what sport, goalkeepers are protected above and beyond any other player. And it happens in hockey as well. as you just mentioned. So I'm not surprised this is given, but I do feel
I don't agree with the call.
I don't agree with it either, but I understand it. It's also one of those calls that if it is given, it will never be overturned by VAR.
Yeah, VAR has to have clear and obvious evidence.
Yeah. And again, we can always ask, as we always do, what is clear and obvious? That's the weird little subjectivity that comes into VAR, but they're never going to overrule this call, whichever way it went. If the goal was allowed, they're not going to overrule it. If it is not given, like in this case, they're not going to overrule it. There's just not enough of a threshold either way. So,
yeah, and then we go to penalties. And again, I hate the stutter step, which Kai Havertz does, and he's stopped by Hill. Like, Paraguay had chances to win this, but Neuer stood up, or it was missed from the far
Paraguay
post.
was up by 2 at one point.
Yep. And then Jonathan Tah skies it over the bar. Well, not before Multimada was stopped by Hill. And of course, Tah is getting a lot of racial abuse, which
yes,
is terrible.
In fact, there's been well, actually, we'll talk about this when we get to the Dutch game. But yeah, I hate to say it. This happens anytime you have a non-white player take a penalty and miss it. We saw this back England in was it Euros or Nations League?
Yeah,
with Bukayo Saka and other
Euros,
players being racially abused. I hate to say it, but if you are someone that steps up to the penalty and you miss, it's basically 100% guarantee that this BS is going to happen.
Yeah, and what makes things worse is a lot of players, as revealed, didn't want to take penalties. Like Leon Goretzka didn't step up, so Todd did. We'll give him that.
Yeah.
He's never taken a penalty in his life or his career.
He's a center back.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sorry, but okay, first off, you should know in a knockout stage there is the likelihood of going to penalties. There should be a list before the game is even kicked. You're working on penalties in your training and whatnot, because this is a very real possibility. There should be a list of who is going to be taking them and in what order they're going to be taken, so that if one of your penalty takers is taken off partway through the game and someone comes in, you already know where everyone slots in that order. It shouldn't be something that is decided at the moment of taking them.
No, it should be prepared.
Yeah,
before the tournament even begins.
It should be. It absolutely should be. Someone like Goretzka is someone who you would expect that would take it.
He's a veteran player. Like, you do have the balls in you to step up at the big moment. Like he did.
Yeah.
Jose Canale with the winner. I was hoping Andres Gubas would take that penalty, but they gave it to Canale.
Which is funny because it was another center back.
Yeah, Gubas has taken penalties before in penalty shootouts.
Yep. With
the Whitecaps. And Paraguay pull up at this moment the shock of the World Cup. I felt like Germany was going to go out early in the knockout stages anyway, but not like this.
Can we honestly say that Germany has really done all that well in this tournament? Like right off the Curacao game. The
Curacao game, not really.
Yeah. And you got to remember that in the previous 2 World Cups, Germany didn't even make it out of the group stage.
It's just because a lot of that 2014 team have now since retired.
There's only Manuel Neuer left.
Late stage.
Only Manuel Neuer is left in that team, and even he had retired and came back out of retirement for this.
Yeah, I mean, Schweinsteiger's retired, Lahm's retired, Podolski, Cruz is retired, and obviously Thomas Muller is retired internationally. And this younger generation hasn't stepped up, especially attacking-wise.
It's strange because you take a look at the shock that Germany suffered in the World Cup back in the mid-later 2000s, where they completely redid the entire program in how they not only train players, but also coaches and referees, right from youth stages all the way up. And then we started to see that benefit with all the players you just mentioned. But then it was like they almost said, okay, job done.
Yeah.
And they didn't continue.
You can't really...
We're seeing that slow decline.
I mean, Undorf, underwhelming game from him when he finally starts. And just over the years, especially since that World Cup winning team, Germany's attackers have been Very underwhelming for their country.
Germany needs to take a look at their how they train footballers again from the youth stages upwards, just like we've been talking about for the I don't know what 8 years that Italy needs to do it.
Yeah, it feels like Germany's heading on that path.
Yeah, but it's a slower decline where Italy just basically jumped off a cliff. Germany,
Yeah.
it's that slow death.
You wonder if Julian Nagelsmann is in it with a job any longer. Jurgen Klopp's waiting in the wings, and he's willing to take it if Nagelsmann leaves.
Nagelsmann has said that he is not a quitter, that he is not going to leave the team. I do wonder if Germany just says, look, you had 3 years or whatever. It's time to bring in someone else. Because you're absolutely right. Jurgen Klopp is, if any job is going to bring him back to being a manager, it's the Germany job.
Yeah. So Paraguay are through to the knockout stage. And then later in that day, yes, we mentioned Morocco beat Netherlands on penalties. I don't understand Ronald Koeman here. In the group stage, he was playing 4 at the back. And then this game decides to go 5 at the back.
He did do that once in the group stage. He did he did both, or 5 or 3, however you want to say it. But it was an interesting choice to do that with Morocco. I don't know if it was the right choice against Morocco, being that they're such a good ball moving team. They're so very, very fluid. You think you might have wanted something a bit more structurally sound, especially since if you're playing with that. I don't think it was a back. I see it more as a back 3 because those wing backs are trying to get so far up. Dumfries and on the other side with Netherlands.
Dumfries and
I think they needed that extra player that's playing purely defensive.
Yeah, the back 3 of Ake, Van Dijk, and Van Heck.
Yeah, and I like Virgil van Dijk. I think he is an absolute top quality center back. But he's another guy where the years are catching up. He's able to play at this high level because he's such a smart player and he reads the whole game in front of him, but he's not, and he never really was the fastest player.
Yeah, and both teams were going at it tactically wise in the first half. It was like both teams were trying to figure each other out. Cody Gakpo, emotional goal from him, especially given that his unborn son passed away over the weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was in tears. Some of the Dutch fans were in tears. It looked like that was the winner, but Morocco just kept pushing, while the Dutch were playing their 3 at the back, 5 at the back, whatever you want to call it.
Do you know what's interesting about Morocco? And it kind of goes back to a lot of the games is they're very mentally strong.
Yeah.
They're like you get to these late stages in the game and they're not chasing a goal. They're continuing to play like they do, believing that the goal will come, even at this late stage, because they didn't score until it was already in stoppage time when Diop got
90+1
before that one. And I think that's a testament again to the organization of this Moroccan team. The other thing I'm going to say is Van Hecke, who is going to be joining Spurs here when the tournament is over. What a beating this guy took.
Very physical. Yeah. And it was
and not just him. There was a player on the Morocco side. I can't remember who, but he was bloody at one point as well. He actually tried to continue until the referee said, look at your shirt. The front of your shirt is covered in blood. He changed his shirt. He tried to get back on. And they're like, yeah, you also have blood running down your head. Get that taken care of. And I mean, if this was the 80s, they probably would have just said, yeah, go fine. But we don't do that anymore. We know that.
Yeah. And Issa Diop with the header, he just jumped over Van Dijk and Koopmeiners for a perfect header.
Yeah. And you have to say Morocco deserved this. They had, Gakpo's goal was great, but it was kind of against the run of play. This was a game where Morocco dominated possession in the game. They dominated the number of chances. They were the ones that were dictating how the game was going to be played. The goal always seemed to be coming for them. It was just a matter of getting it done, and they did it. Once it went on from that, you kind of felt that Morocco was going to take it in extra time. You take a look at that extra time. Morocco,
It was mostly Morocco.
they had about 84, 85% of the ball in both kind of like the 15-minute halves. It was theirs. The fact that the Dutch held on for penalties, I mean, good on them that penalties are a toss-up, but this was Morocco's deserved win.
One of the worst, or if you want to call it that, or most bizarre penalty shootouts ever.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dutch were up with Koopmeiners scored first, and then Aniauri just blasted it over the bar, or it hit the crossbar rather. But Kluivert hitting the post, and Verbruggen thought he saved Rahimi's penalty, but it went through him.
That one, I mean, he saved it, but it was still underneath him, and then the ball goes off his back leg. That's I don't think I've ever seen a penalty like that. I mean, you've seen goals like that where it's saved and then the ball ends up going off something. Yeah. I don't think I've seen that in a penalty before. Not that I can remember.
Quinton Timber, not Urian, because Urian is out for the tournament with an injury. This is Urian's twin brother. Completely misses the net.
Yeah, and he missed the net by a significant margin.
Yeah, and then Hakimi also hits that left post, which was quite the curse in this penalty shootout.
Now, you talked about the racial abuse that was in the previous game. That happened again in this with the three players that missed. All three of those players.
Somerville, and Kluivert.
So all three of those players have now been subjected to a significant, massive, online racial abuse. The Dutch Football Association, and I know, they're investigating it, and they're looking at, any sort of penalties and punishments they can do if they can find who's been doing this. That's going to be a lot of people. I hate to say it. Also, Ronald Koeman has stepped down as head of the Dutch national team. That was his second stint as the manager. So I don't know what happens with him. There has been rumors that he is actually going to be retiring in his entirety. His wife has had some health scares. I'm not going to go into them. It's out there if you want to find out, if you want that story. But there was the illusion that he now wants to spend time with family. And you know what? Fair. Yeah, I get it.
You can't fault the guy.
Yeah.
So Somerville was denied by Yassine Bono. Montreal-born keeper, by the way.
Yeah.
And Ismail Shaiberi with the winner sets up Morocco versus Canada. Then yesterday we had a few games. Cote d'Ivoire against Norway. This was our first Norway goal. What a banger by Antonio Nusa.
Brilliant goal.
Yeah, and then also taken. I felt like Norway were kind of being passive a bit in the second half as Amad Diallo, great solo goal to tie the game.
Yep.
But guess who? All he needs is one touch. Erling Haaland gets the touch. Sure, it's a tap-in, but a goal is a goal.
You know what? He was quiet for most of that. He actually did have a good save just maybe about 5-10 minutes earlier. But keeping a goal off the Norwegian line, but then pops up for this one. It was kind of funny because he tapped it in, and then he almost hesitated a little bit and tried to move forward again because it almost looked like the goalkeeper might actually get to it, and he was like, "Oh wait, my job's not done yet." But even when it went in, it was kind of like Haaland is a funny guy to watch his reactions because he didn't really cheer the goal. It almost was like a bit of a sheepish sort of reaction, like, hey, we got the win, but maybe we should just be quiet and take it and get out of the stadium.
And great assist by Berg, who got around the Ivorian defenders and set up the tap in for Haaland. For Cote d'Ivoire, I felt like Diomande had a very disappointing tournament, expecting more from him. Just the one assist, but still valued at 100 million plus.
He's young.
Yeah, he's young. He'll bounce back.
He will. The footballing intelligence is already there, but it's going to get better, and it's going to start matching also what his body can do. That's any player. He's young.
Yep.
The one thing I thought was funny was at the end of the game, Erling Haaland being interviewed by Norwegian media and asking, because they're going to be facing France, right?
Brazil, I think.
Brazil, sorry, that was it. Brazil. They're going to be facing in the next round, and they asked what the chances are. And he will never lie. He said our chances are very slim.
But when Haaland's scoring goals, you never know. All he needs is one touch.
Have you seen the number of goals that he has per international games? It's insane.
It's great. Yeah. One of the greatest goal scorers of all time.
Yeah.
Club and country. And after that, it was Kylian Mbappe with another masterclass. Dominant 3-0 win over Sweden. Felt like it could have been more. Mbappe with the brace and Barcola with a goal himself. It felt like Olise could have had a hat trick as well, given the amount of chances he had.
Olise, Mbappe, Dembele, you throw in Barcola, like you said there. Like, there are so many players on this team that on any team we would call kind of a superstar. And it's a testament to Didier Deschamps that he's got these guys working together as a team. And you can see just how much all of these players are working for one another. After Mbappe's goal, and the first thing he does is he runs over to give Deschamps a big hug after everything that Deschamps has gone through, with the fact that he had actually missed the previous game going back to France for his mother's funeral, and then coming back to be a part of the knockout rounds. This French team, I mean, how many times do we have to say it? This is the team of the tournament. It's usually every World Cup, there's like 3 or 4 teams that you feel could take this. This is France's tournament to lose. I don't see anyone else in this tournament that can slow this team down. Now, over the course of 90 minutes, anything can happen. And if that happens, fair game to you. But you're taking out what feels like the de facto champions, because this French team is absolutely steamrolling. You say they could have had more than 3 goals. They absolutely could have. They rang a ball off both posts in the first half, and it almost felt like you were just waiting for they just need the crossbar to kind of complete the trifecta. Kylian Mbappe, I feel in this tournament will surpass Lionel Messi for having the most goals in World Cup history. I know Messi just broke that record. I feel like Kylian Mbappe will. He will pass him. That's going to be one of those records Messi just doesn't get to hold on for that much longer.
Everybody.
Dembele, and you mentioned. Who else did you mention?
Barcola.
Olise, because I don't think Olise has a goal in this tournament, but he's got something like 5 or 6 assists.
He's got the most assists. Could have had that amazing bicycle kick goal.
He is one of the most dangerous players in this tournament for what he creates. Yeah, he's not going to pop up and get all the goals, but he is creating everything else around him. He gets the ball. You better get in position.
Crazy. He deserves a goal in this game, and everybody for France did their job. Job done. Easy 3-0. Well, not easy, but expected 3-0 win for France, and this is their World Cup to lose.
It is, yeah.
And then last night, after a rain delay at the Azteca, Mexico knock out Ecuador. Mexico were dominant in that first half. Just pure dominance. Just made Ecuador chase the game. Quinones and Raul Jimenez with the goals. And then the second half, Ecuador tried, but nothing.
Mexico sat back in that second half. For them, it was job done. They didn't really hold on to the ball. And the thing is they never looked in danger.
Yeah, and Ecuador did not look dangerous at all.
Yeah. But the fact that this game was delayed an hour, the fans in that stadium, apparently that stadium, it didn't stop for that hour. Fans were going crazy waiting for the game with cheers and chants and songs. When that game began, it felt
It
like
was
the
just
lid
flat.
was going to come off. Like the amount of energy in the Azteca. Oh, I mean, we've already talked about this being one of the cathedrals of football in the
It's
world, not
Mexico's
just Mexico,
Wembley.
in the world.
Yeah.
To be in that stadium for that game, I think you would have needed earplugs.
Oh, definitely. And just Ecuador just not offering anything. Like their attackers are Plata and Valencia, who's old, and
Well, Valencia, didn't he?
he was
Come
hooked
on.
at like in the 59th minute
Yeah,
for what was his name, Rodriguez.
yeah.
And
Also, I mean, their goalkeeper, I think, is like 39 or something like that
Yeah.
as well. I mean, Ecuador has a mix, but they're going to need to start to really bring in more
Tackles.
new players.
Hey, someone to watch out for the next World Cup is Bruno Caicedo.
Yes, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, could have used him in this World Cup with his
Yeah.
speed and creativity, but he's one to watch for 2030.
Ecuador's a good team. Ecuador's a good team. I think they're better than what their record was. I think like getting in as one of the third place teams. I thought they were better than a third place team in the group stage.
Yeah.
Coming up against Mexico, and I mean you gotta be honest. Everything is coming up for Mexico. You're playing in the Azteca.
They haven't
You're
conceded a
playing
goal.
in your country in front of your fans. Everything seems to be clicking for Mexico right now, as it is for all the host nations.
Yeah.
It's like everything. The deck was stacked against Ecuador in this game, and that's tough to overcome.
Yeah, and I guess that's what for Ecuador. They got to create some attackers. We're bringing some attackers. Well, Mexico haven't conceded a goal at this tournament. Their attack looks deadly. They're going to give either England or DR Congo a run for their money. And in this game, it felt like Moises Caicedo and Pedro Vite were just doing all the creating.
They were, but as the game wore on, you started to see the frustration, especially I would say in particular from Caicedo.
Yeah, he was just he got a yellow for that reckless tackle, and then
even Vite, there was a possible red card against Vite because he elbowed a dude. Now nothing ever came of it. There was a red in this game again for Hincapié covering his mouth during an altercation, and again. I get that players do it without even thinking, but you were told months before that this is happening, and you go back and you look at this.
Yep.
There's no doubt.
No doubt.
It's too late at the game. Like this happened in the 95th minute. The game was already done and dusted at this point.
And Ecuador frustrated.
Yeah. The frustration got to them.
Yeah. And as it stands right now, DR Congo, 65 minutes in, are up 1-0 over England. England's attack is they're getting chances, but they're not converting. There was a possible penalty shout late in the first half. Tuchel looks frustrated. Yeah,
the entire English bench did. Harry Kane is not a guy you see get that emotional. He looked livid.
Yeah, and Nico Riley's going up against the Congo attacker, wins the ball back. No, there's a foul. But England, they got to figure it out here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take a look at DR Congo right now. Anytime England goes forward, they've got 9-10 guys inside that box.
Yeah. Winner gets to go to the Azteca to face Mexico.
Because that's an easy job, right?
Yeah, totally. It was Kapenga who scored against England 7 minutes in. A little commentary here. Yeah, England are trying to get past this DR Congo low block. There's like 7 guys all lined up together. Anderson and Rice are trying to create something in the midfield, but time's ticking.
Is Gordon the guy you want on the left-hand side in this?
Oh, you don't really have anyone else.
I know. But
he's at a poor turn. He's at a shocker tournament.
I am still surprised that Barcelona. I'm surprised Barcelona bought him. I'm also surprised Barcelona paid the price for him that they did.
When they also had Rashford on loan when they had a chance to.
And
Rashford has chances in this game.
Rashford did well with Barcelona, and he's popped up with at least a goal in this tournament. I mean, he's been used off and on. But yeah, I don't know. This is going to be another one of those ones where I don't think
England got just about 24 minutes to figure things out
we'll see.
as we're recording this.
DR Congo, could you imagine?
Yeah. So
I was reading an interesting article, and if you get a chance, check it out. It's a BBC article, but talking about the evolution of football in Africa and how footballing nations in Asia are looking at Africa almost in jealousy because what's working in Africa hasn't really worked in Asia. It's an interesting read if you get a chance.
yeah, all the Asian countries are out of this tournament. Oh, I guess Australia, since they're in the Asian Federation.
They are in the Asian Confederation. They did make that switch quite a few years ago now.
Yeah, Australia play against Egypt on Friday. So other games later today, Belgium, Senegal from Seattle, and then from Santa Clara, the U.S. will take on Bosnia.
I believe the U.S. will win that game.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Bosnia's got some big bodies, and they'll try to take advantage of set pieces. That's what they do. Senegal and
Belgium. I think Senegal pulls through a close game.
I haven't been impressed with Belgium, so I
haven't been that
agree
impressed
with
with
you.
Senegal either, but
True.
I'll go with Senegal with a 1-0 win.
All right.
Screw it. Nicholas Jackson scores.
Sure, why not?
Somehow
gets it done.
Yeah. And Lukaku misses 6 sitters.
Yeah. And then still somehow manages to get a goal.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what
And
he
then
does.
Senegal wins on penalties.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll conclude this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter, Joshua00, Nathan and Durek. Podcast at Terminal City FC on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube. Check out all our daily World Cup articles for Area 51 Sports Network on the website. I'll be writing later today. Enjoy all the games. Enjoy Canada versus Morocco. That concludes this week's episode. Happy Canada Day. Peace out.
Take care.